Okay, so this is going to be part four of our weighted cost of capital discussion, and we're almost done here. This is where finally all the magic happens. And so we started our WACC with the very basics, equity. Um, Actually, let me do it this way real quick. Equity, come on, erase. Equity and debt, and then we added our preferred stock, right? And so there was three pieces of our capital of our entire capital structure. Capital structure. Structure. And we could divide these into equity, preferred stock, and debt, right? We started with equity, which was equity over equity plus D, and multiply it by required equity plus D over E plus D, and we multiply it by the required return for our debt holders. And then we said, well, we also need to include our preferred stockholders, E plus D plus P. That means we have to go back and put preferred stockholders into our total capital, and we multiply that by the required return of our preferred stockholders. But there's one additional, oh, wait. And switching over to yellow, we know that this guy has to come from somewhere. And so we use the CAPM to calculate the expected return to the stockholder, and we use the expected return in place uh, of our requirement, our percent requirement for our stockholders, and that turns out when yellow, obviously, and that's where that number comes from. Well, there's more one more adjustment that we need to make to our WACC for the WACC to be completely complete. And as we know, nothing is what it seems, nothing is as easy as it seems, and we can actually, but this is to our advantage in a corporate environment, we can actually take advantage of some tax payments when it comes to our debt. And so if we look at our traditional net income statement, sales minus COGS gives me gross profit minus expenses gives me net or earnings before income and taxes minus interest, and then that gives me EBT and so on. This guy right here, interest, because it comes before taxes, actually gives me an opportunity to deduct, did I do this in brick? Deduct my bond payments. That is huge. It means that my debt is tax deductible. And that's the same whether we talk about bond payments or whether we talk about traditional commercial debt or whatever else. If you take out debt, the interest that you pay is considered a business expense. And as such, it is tax deductible. What that means is that we have to rewrite our WACC because the cost of capital is actually lower than we think it is when we consider our cost of capital. That means that our cost of capital is going to be, all right, equity over debt plus equity plus preferred stock times the rate of equity. We have all seen that. Plus, and now we do debt over debt plus equity plus preferred stock times my rate of debt, but I can actually downward adjust my rate of debt because my interest is tax deductible by my taxable bracket. And we denote this by saying TD, which is equal to corporate tax rate. This brick color is really aggressive, isn't it? And we're actually going to say that we're going to do 1 minus the taxable rate. And we get into the details of why that works out that way. It's the math is not particularly difficult. It just takes a little time to do that. No big deal. And so this factor right here, I don't know why I do it that way. This factor right here is our tax, taking into account the tax deductibility of the of the debt payments. And then, as discussed, we do our preferred stock payments, D plus E plus P. And that is the full WACC equation. It's very exciting. It's very sexy. We love it. So let's take a look at what this might look like if we do the entire puzzle. Okay, so let's do a relatively simple WACC where I have in equity. Let's follow our other example, 15 million, and in my preferred stock I have $10 million, and my debt is $5 million. And my rates of requirement on the outside of the capital structure, my egg is, I don't remember what we did before. So let's just do 18 here and 10 for, oh, wait, yeah, 10 for my rate of preferred stock, 18 for my rate of equity, and let's do uh, 8 for my rate of debt, okay? What else do we need? What else do we need? We need the tax rate. And let's say our tax rate, our corporate tax rate is equal to 25%, okay? Which is a little low for big companies, but let's just go with that for now, okay? So let's rewrite the WACC again. Let's do it in green. WACC is equal to equity over equity plus debt plus P times the rate of equity plus debt over equity plus debt plus preferred times the rate of my debt and make my tax adjustment 1 minus my corporate tax rate plus preferred stock equity plus debt plus P. Okay, we'll do this in 2 stages because we have plenty of time. Let me keep this here so I can still see it. So what's my equity? It's 15 million. So this is 15 over 15 plus 5 plus 10 times my rate of equity plus my debt is going to be 5 over 15 plus 5 plus 10 times my rate of debt times 1 minus my corporate tax rate plus 10 over 15 plus 5 plus 10. And then this gives us a great opportunity to do some space saving. So this is going to be 15 over 30. And let's go ahead and bring in our rate of equity. Our rate of equity was 18. Yeah, 18. Rate of equity was 18 plus 5 over 30 times my rate of debt. My rate of debt was 8%. So this is 8%. I'm going to multiply that by 1 minus 0.25 because 0.25 is equal to my corporate tax rate from above plus, oh, I'm sorry, this is RP over here, plus 10 over 30 times the rate of my preferred stock. That happens to be right here, so it makes it easy. And I'll put the 10 right there. Boom. Now we just do math. And let's go ahead and get that done. So this is going to be 0.5 times 18 plus, I think this was like 0.17 times 8 times 0.75. 1 minus 0.25 is 0.75 plus 1/3 0.33 times 10. Whew. 11 equals whatever that is. 1/2 of 18 is 9. Plus here I'm going to use the calculator. That's going to be 0.17 times 8 times 0.75 equals 1.02 plus 0.33 times 10 equals 3.3. 3.3. And so my WACC is now equal to 3.3 plus 1.02 plus 9, 13.32. And what do we use our WACC for? We use our WACC to calculate net present value given some project. That's it. This sounds a little bit more tricky than it is, so let's just go through the problem one more time relatively quickly. Let's use the bright, big pink, bright red. A little kind of a light pink. There we go. No, I don't want that. Let's use blue. So this guy is my equity. This guy is my equity. This guy, this entire thing is my debt. This entire thing represents how I calculate my preferred stock. In this video, what we're adding that's new is 1 minus the tax rate to our debt, because I can take advantage of tax deductions of my debt because the interest is an expense. Because interest is tax deductible, I can actually lower the risk factor or lower the rate of my debt portion of my capital structure. And when I calculate this out, it just runs right through the math. I plug in the equations and I get 13, in this example, 13.32% for my discount rate or for my internal cost of capital.